Good afternoon, good morning, everyone. Onegaishimasu. Nice to see you all. Tonight, I'll read you Kyudoshin, the mind seeking to clarify the practice, the way of the universe is called Kyudoshin, or the way-seeking mind. Animals are unable to know universal mind, even if they are very clever. This is a privilege that only human beings possess. How fortunate are the people who manifest the way-seeking mind, because this is exact proof that they have discovered their true human nature. Very beautiful. So you can hear me okay, eh? All right, so Sayaka, are you here? Yes, can you please read this in Japanese for us?
大事なことは童心を持ち続けること。
Ah, thank you very much. So yeah, Kyudoshin. And then they just say Doshin or Doshindo. We say Kyudoshin. Means the way seeking mind. So it doesn't mean the way finding mind or the way discovering mind. It's the way seeking mind. Very important distinction. This is a state of mind. The way seeking mind is this word, Kyudoshin, is describing a state of our mind that we approach everything with. It's not like sometimes people think of it like the small mind seeking an answer or seeking the truth, seeking the universal mind. But this is not what it means, because the small mind has no discipline. It will seek in the past, it'll seek in the future, it'll seek in the depths, it'll seek in a book, it'll seek in a magazine, it'll seek all over, trying to get a reward, trying to find an answer, trying to discover something. But when we have way-seeking mind, which is already here, it says way-seeking universal mind. So this is original mind. This is your mind now. If you awaken to it, we call this way-seeking mind. In other words, it's not a state of aggrandizement. It's a state of humility. Okay, we'll do a little key breathing now. Sometime in your life, some difficulty arises, and that's usually when the way-seeking mind arises at the same time. Usually, if everything is going exactly the way we like already, and we have just operating from our conditioned, small, structured, intellectual mind, then there's no reason to change that. You don't feel motivated to change that. But when you lose something dear to you, whether inside or outside, when some real difficulty arises that you don't have an answer for, then maybe that's when the way-seeking mind arises. That's one time, one way. Another way, maybe less prominent usual, but certainly it happens when you're practicing, and you've been practicing for many, many years, and things have been going just great, you thought. And then suddenly one day you wake up and you realize your practice is going nowhere. There has been zero development suddenly for the last however long. So only when that happens to us, then we usually have a little event, a little way-seeking mind event, a little, it can arise for us. In other words, it's something that we have to really dig deep to discover within us. It's not just a casual looking, in other words, it's not just, well, I've read about this and it sounds really interesting, like going to Greece. I think I'll try it. Yeah, if you do that, you'll have no, you won't feel good about yourself. You won't feel settled. You won't feel satisfied. When you're in true way-seeking mind, with universal mind, this is original condition. Of course, you feel already arrived. And yet you have an open and available mind. So this is like, it's like Otomo practice. If we practice Otomo, we must have way-seeking mind. We must have an open and available mind, that it was always open and looking. And without seeking reward. The problem with the small mind seeking, it's always seeking, that's fine. Maybe even genuinely seeking to find something deeper or deeper meaning in our life. But it wants that. It wants a reward. It wants a cause and effect. Give me this so that I can get that. Teach me how to practice this so I can have that. But way-seeking mind is beyond that. Way-seeking mind is free of needing reward, requiring reward. That's why Otomo practice. That's why Suzuki Sensei, Toi Sensei taught us Otomo. The whole, and you fellows, those of you that have practiced Otomo know this already. If you have some idea of reward, you're going to get booted right away. It's going to be very difficult. It will be very unsatisfying to you. And believe me, also unsatisfying to your teacher. So when we practice Otomo, we have to have way-seeking mind, just like sitting in meditation. If we don't have an open and, like I said, available, a mind that is available for whatever possibility might occur, then if that's not happening intensely, then it's a dead practice. Then you're practicing form for the sake of form. You're just sitting because you think you should. Your teacher told you to sit, so you sit. No. This is how you discover yourself. That's why he says, Toi Sensei says, you have discovered the true meaning of human being a human being. We discover ourselves this way. Yeah, not a self that you can define, not a self that has characteristics, not a personality, not that self. We discover our original being, the purpose of being human, the purpose of being in this body. That's why we never want to waste a day. We never want a day to go through without way-seeking mind, because that day will never come again. This day, this moment, this week, this month, this year, this whole lifetime never, ever will come again. Of course, as you become older, you become more keenly aware that life never, ever repeats itself. Not one moment ever repeats itself. So we have to be available for every moment. So we say, make hay while the sun is shining. Okay, so I think that's probably probably enough for now. So Fincher Sterling is your moderator tonight. So he is now going to send you off to your to have fun in your discussion rooms. Thank you.
Sensei.
Okay, I think we have all returned now. Let me say one thing before we start. Sometimes we try to approach the unknown, to experience the unknown with our intelligence, because that's what we're used to using, our intellect, our conceptual mind. But that's kind of like asking a train to fly like a plane. It's not made for that. The intelligence, the intellect, is made to summarize, to conceptually understand something that just happened. You see, like way-seeking mind, that is for now. That opens us to the immediacy of this moment, spontaneous moment. The intellect can't take that in until after. And then it remembers it as well as it can, and it stores it, it structuralizes it, it fits it into what it knows, and it uses it to offer explanations and other things, write books, things like that, about it. So it's never the truth. The intellect cannot conceive of the truth, but it knows all about the truth. It can perfectly describe it to you, but that's not it. That's not the thing itself. It's like when you went to this foreign country that I've never been to, and you came home and you can tell me all about it. The food was wonderful and how they drive and how they socialize and all the different interesting things about the culture. But I didn't go there. So I have no clue actually what it is. I just know all about it. So those are the two. That's very important to remember, because sometimes we're sitting in meditation, instead of being lively and open and wondering, a way-seeking mind, we are knowing, categorizing, intellectualizing, figuring out what's going on. Okay, so sorry, I just wanted to add that one little bit. Group number one, please proceed.
Sensei, we need to start with group number 2. Can
Hi,
you hear me,
Sensei.
Sensei? Group number 2.
Hi, Sensei. This is group 2. We had Gloria Sensei, Christoph Sensei, and Phoenix. One thing we talked about was what you said about when we're faced with difficulties in life, the way-seeking mind arises. And we talked about why that might be, that difficulties in our life challenge us. When life is going well, we're not challenged as much, but when there's difficulties, they challenge us to dig deep and to move forward instead of getting hung up on whatever the obstacle is, to find a way to move forward, to move past it. And we also talked about humility in the practice, and Christoph mentioned when we're humble, we're better capable of dealing with difficulties. The question that we had was, you talked about aggrandizement and how it's just something that the small mind seeks, but you also talked about growing in the practice versus kind of just going along with the practice and not going anywhere and not realizing it, or maybe realizing it one day. And it seems like there's a conflict between, like, we're we're told about quote unquote enlightenment and having realizations, and we're also told not to expect it and not to hope for it. So
So what's going on here?
what's going on?
Well, it like most things that when you really face them in this life, when you really get a hold of something and look very, very closely at it, you will discover a paradox. Everything is like this, right? So even in the form of things, what looks like a very smooth surface from where you're sitting, if you look very closely at it, it's quite rough. And something that looks very, very rough from where you're sitting, if you move back and look at the big picture, it might be very smooth. Like when we think things are chaotic, it's often just the dance of awakening that's happening. And it can't happen without that dance. It can't happen without those challenges. And we've talked about this so many times, you know, the taking the relative world in half and just taking the pleasurable part. So just imagine living in a world that's like that, where everything goes your way and you got everything you want at every moment. How's your personal growth going to take place? It's not required. It's not that you might not want to, but it's just not necessary because you've got everything already. So even when you're experiencing way-seeking mind, in some sense, that's an enlightened state of mind. But if you start looking for enlightenment in that state of mind, the state of mind disappears. It's no longer the awakened mind. It's then an ignorant mind that thinks enlightenment is something other than this that's happening right now. Sometimes we think that, don't we? Okay, that's all I have to say about that right now. Thank you. How are you? Okay, group 2, please.
Group 3, please.
2, what happened to 2?
We were group 2.
What happened to group 1?
You were group 1, Sensei.
All right, okay, I got in a group finally. Okay,
Well, I guess I'm with group 3.
okay, hello, David.
Hi. I'm Johnny Sensei, Linda Sasaki Sensei, and Olaf Sensei. And they were just smiling at me when I was describing my situation. My question will lead to, but you know, prior to Aikido, you know, I went through something that made me seek something.
I remember.
Yeah, so that's why I came and I asked you of what's going on, and you're the only one who could explain it to me. So that's why I hung around, you know, basically. But then I jump over, you know, all these years later, and these last 2 years I've had some difficult things happening to me. But instead of what happened was I was going, yeah, I get to really develop now that I'm going through these things, and it didn't happen, baby. You know, so it because I was expecting that reward of trying to, you know, oh, I'm going to go through this hard time, so I should develop. But I quickly realized, well, not quickly, it took a long time to realize that no, that's not going to happen. You know, and Olaf Sensei was saying he had a student who kept seeking, you know, different practices to try and, he must be going through some, apparently he went through something too, to try and seek. You know, Olaf was saying when he was younger, he reminded me of him.
Yeah.
But I guess my question is this the process of going through things and developing? Is this figuring it out that, oh, you know, like I had such a misconstrued view of it, you know, about how you develop, you know, and it's actually just sitting and doing the work, not about what you go through, I guess. I mean, yeah, that helps when you go through something, but I was definitely expecting a reward from that trauma, and I quickly discovered, not quickly, but it took me a long time to discover that that's not quite true if you're, I guess, looking for the reward.
Right. Well, so it's that return on investment
Yeah.
that we have. We have a kind of mind that doesn't think it makes sense to put out any kind of effort, any kind of invest, any kind of energy, or forget money, just even caring without getting a return on that caring. If you feel like the person that you are with is not sufficiently rewarding you with love and attention and caring and respect, then if you're a reward seeker, you're going to be very unhappy.
Hmm.
But the world is never going to be the way we want it, right? That's not how it is. That's not what we're working for. We're not trying to create heaven here. This is earth, and there will be pain and there will be pleasure. So that's not what we're doing. We want to understand fundamentally what it's like to experience being alive. It's not like, and don't tell me you know how to experience being alive, because we don't. There's no end. It's infinite. And so this the way-seeking mind is the mind that is willing to be alive and not miss a beat, wasting time trying to find some way to improve it, to get some reward out of this, to get a greater return on my investment. Oh, I should be doing this, not this, because this isn't giving me what I need, so I'm going to go here. Yeah, it's crazy. It's insanity. And if you follow that path, as you well know, you will get to a point where it can be very, very dark.
Yeah.
And then you have to go through that. But of course, that's how you discovered the way-seeking mind. And so, of course, it's all worth it, as it turns out.
Thank you, Sensei.
Thank you. Thank you. Next group, please.
Hello, Sensei. It's group number 4.
Hello. Hello. How are you? Nice to
Okay.
see you.
Okay. We were with Joel, Jen, and Prakash, and we had a nice discussion. And first question is from my side that for me, if I have problems or challenges, I just if I have problems or challenges, I just going to resolve them. But if everything is nice and comfortable, I start to feel that I need something more or try to. And question is whether this is way-seeking mind or this is just ego try to, I don't know, find something inside of, or need some, I don't know, need something to be active or something like this. And
so this is well-known syndrome, isn't it, in us human beings? Like, what makes us climb Mount Everest? What makes us race motorcycles? What makes us put ourselves in great danger? Well, it raises our level of intensity. So if we have a mind that is always looking elsewhere for satisfaction, for stimulation, for life, right? Then we become bored very easily because we're not looking at the source. We're looking at the manifestation. So that's why we learn to, that's what we're talking about tonight, is the way-seeking mind. That is the mind that sits in the chair of intensity. It's the one that's sitting in the electric chair. It's sitting in the chair that's gonna awaken you, and it's gonna take you through some changes as it does. And the intensity you feel cannot be equaled by climbing a mountain or driving a car very fast. So even, and of course, most of us don't do that anyway. We cause trouble with our partner, or we look at another woman and have an affair, or we dream of it. Maybe we don't do it, but we dream of it. We're always seeking some sort of approbation, something to give us some, come on, let's go here. Let's get something great happening. Because we're not looking to the source directly, which is, we don't believe we are it already. There is no greater stimulation, if you want to say, than sitting, resting in the light of awareness. That's what I have to say about that. Okay.
Thank you, Sensei. And sorry, we have a second question from Prakash. If I'm not mistaken, the question is that first part is, if we are already there, why we should seek? Yeah. Why seeking my, if we are already there? And second, if we seek something, then should be seeker. And this is a sort of conceptual and wondering him. About this.
Yeah, good question. And this comes up, of course, in everybody's mind. It's the first thing that comes up is, well, wait a minute. If that's way-seeking mind is the universal mind itself already, well, what's to seek? Because I got it already. Well, that's the problem. You may have it, but who has it? See? So the way-seeking mind indicates a mind of humility, a mind that doesn't take credit for being anything, a mind that doesn't claim any superiority, any accomplishment of any kind, a mind that is always open. Because even if you claim this little bit, that's a little bit you don't have, that you are not open to. Let's put it that way. If you think, okay, well, I know this, I got this, so I'm just going to have a way-seeking mind for the rest. You see, this is not how it works. Way-seeking mind is the place to be if you have visions of grandiosity. Take it from someone who is very familiar with that problem. So yeah, this is wonderful. Like Suzuki Roshi, Shunryu Suzuki Roshi, the famous Zen teacher from San Francisco, talked about way-seeking mind all the time. And he encourages students just to sit quietly in way-seeking mind. Okay? Thank you, and thank you, Prakash, for the question. Next.
Hello, Sensei.
Hello.
I was in a group with Melly Sensei, Vitali, and Roy Sensei, and we're the quandaries that we came up with were very similar to what Alexei just shared with his group. The well, how do you know which mind it is that, you know, how do we gauge the, you know, am I in the, you know, is my mind in the right place? Am I doing the correct thing? And, you know, it gets very tiring. And also the contradiction in terms of, what Prakash brought up about the, well, isn't it ironic that it's called seeking, but in its purest form, we're already there. So you already answered it, by addressing Alexi and Prakash's questions. But I know you have more to say.
Well, tell me the first one again.
What Alexi was saying about, well, how do you know?
Oh, what? How do you
Maybe
know?
I'm
Well, so I mean, that's it, isn't it? I mean, there is such a thing as growth and maturity, and as we practice, we learn. We learn to get less often fooled by our own seeking. In other words, when you see that what you are seeking is a reward, is a result, even if it's enlightenment. Never mind it's a candy bar. Even if it's enlightenment, if that's what you're seeking, then it's not the way seeking mind, because that's not the way. That is a reward of your practice that you see, you need, you want to justify your practice. So it's not humble at all. It's very arrogant. It's a demand. Okay.
But how do you know? How do you know? Do you know what I mean? How do you know? It's like when you're immature, you don't know you're immature. You're just immature.
Yeah.
And if you're seeking, do you know you're seeking?
No. Well, there's a lot of confusion involved. And that's how we grow and develop, is through one mistake after another. We don't grow by successes. We grow by mistakes, right? We grow every time we are ignorant and we get slapped for chasing after something. Oh, wait, why did I do that? Oh, that's the reward seeking mind. That's not the way seeking mind. So you have this little example to go on. And then as you grow and develop, more and more of those happen. And the balance begins to shift. And pretty soon you know how to sit right in the way seeking mind. Is it because you know what it feels like to not be seeking any reward, any result of any kind, to not require, to not demand anything of the universe, even your life, your own life. Okay?
Yep.
Thank you very much. And thank you for coming on, Lynn. It's nice to see you out here on Zoom. Okay, someone else? Is there another group?
I believe that's it, Sensei.
Okay, well, that was just excellent. That was, we got that done. And that's great. It's only 7 o'clock. Okay, well, yeah, if there isn't anything else, this is, I'm sure that, my explanations help. I hope they help. I'm not sure they do, but I hope they help. But they're not going to answer it for you, for anybody. They're just to keep you here. But going there, you have to do that. You have to go deeper and deeper. And, it's like that thing I said about not letting a moment go by. If that seems unnecessary or too severe or too demanding to you, I think that's where you might want to look. Okay. Thank you very much for being a part of this tonight. Domo arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you, Fincher, for being our leader.